Greetings and welcome to the seventh day, the final day of Kwanzaa, the seventh principle of the Nguzo Saba, which is Imani. This is Tonya Poole again, still with my one red candle, because all my candles are, you see how they look in the Kanara back there. But today's principle is Imani, and Imani is a Swahili word that means faith. I'm sure you probably know somebody named Imani. I think I know about 3 or 4 Imanis. Imani is like a popular name in our community, right? So Imani means faith, but the official Kwanzaa website further describes that or defines that as to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. That's so beautiful. I feel like all week I have been leading up to or basically explaining this principle here, Imani. To believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Righteousness and victory. Righteousness and victory. When we practice all of the principles, when we practice Umoja, unity, when we practice Kujichagulia and we're self-determined, and Ujima, collective work and responsibility, Ujima, cooperative economics, Nia, which is our purpose, and Kaumba, which is our ability to create, our creativity. That is us exuding and living Imani, faith. Because why would we do all of that? Why would we even do all of that if we didn't have faith that it would work, or that it's a beautiful thing, right? It is, all of the principles to me lead up or culminate with having Imani. Imani to me also further speaks to like the unseen principle that guides us all. No matter what your religion or your faith is, there's always this unseen, right? There's always something that you can't bring to the table fully, like through your own strength, through your own intellect, through your own skill. It's always this something, this unseen element that you're hoping is going to be in the mix, right, to make that thing beautiful. In my mind, I'm picturing like when you're cooking and okay, I'm gonna put in a pinch of this, a little sprinkle of this, saute this for 30 seconds, flip it over, preheat the oven. Like you do all of the steps that's in the recipe, right? But that moment when you put the fork in the food before you put it to your mouth, is always like, I hope this tastes as good as, the love and the energy that I put into it, right? So there's, even when you do everything right, there's still this hope that everything will be right, right? To me, that's Imani. That's that faith. That is the faith to know that what you're working for, what you're working towards will work, will prove to be true, will prove to be a good thing, right? It makes me think of our ancestors, those who have come before us, especially those who have persevered on this land, right? Again, if I could echo back to our first day, when I said, I think it was on the first day where I said, one of the criticisms of Kwanzaa is that it is a made up holiday. And I'm like, well, all holidays are made up. At some point, somebody had to sit down and say, we're going to celebrate this because this is meaningful to us. And when we're celebrating, we're going to eat these foods, we're going to do these things, we're going to sing these songs, we're going to do these dances, right? We're going to give these gifts. We're going to go to grandma's house. We're going to, as a part of the celebration. So Kwanzaa itself is us Kujichaguliing is us being self-determined to celebrate ourselves, right? And so Kwanzaa, though it is pulling from a lot of elements and a lot of traditions of Black people worldwide, just like my example yesterday when I talked about hip hop and go-go, right? It's pulling from so many elements, but the secret sauce was that it had to come together here. Why? Because we were specifically thinking about our ancestors on this land who had Imani, faith, when there was no reason to have faith in anything and anyone. Those who persevered even when their lives were on the line. Like, it takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of faith to believe that the generations that will come after you will be free when you have literally seen strange fruit hanging from a tree, right? And even with a lot of the atrocities that we still see today, we still persevere, because it's not even so much to me about just the act of struggling. One only struggles when they know for sure that it is not their destiny to be enslaved or oppressed. You know, when you stop struggling, when you stop fighting, I'm using these words very carefully. When you stop hoping and believing and putting actions behind that faith, that means you have just acquiesced to everybody else's will for your life. Kwanzaa reminds us that the reason for having Imani and the reason for having faith is because we are not only going to a destined place of victory and prosperity and triumph, but because we are victorious, because we are triumphant, because we are prosperous, right? And I even spoke about that, I think, on Ujima, when I talked about how we were on the original money in this country at some point. Not because we could pick cotton so well. I mean, on the surface, that's how it looked. But because at the core of it, we are wealth. We are wealth, you know? So that is why we persist in our Kuumba, in our Nia, in our Ujima, in our Ujima, in our Kuji Chagolia, in our Umoja. I want a hand clap for saying the principles backwards, okay? Because I didn't even look down at my notes when I said that, right? But, you know, that's why we persist in those things, because we know who we are. We know we're not fighting and struggling to become great. We know that we're great. And so therefore we don't accept anybody treating us otherwise. That's unacceptable to us because we know who we are. If we didn't know who we are, we wouldn't get angry when we're mistreated. We wouldn't get angry when we struggle so long to obtain wealth and then our communities get burned down or what have you, right? We get angry, we feel that emotion because we know who we are. But we move past anger and we move into walking in our purpose because we have faith in who we are. We have faith, you know, when we look at our predecessors, when we look at our ancestors and we see, like, man, if they can persevere through that, surely I can persevere through this. Surely I can accomplish this thing that to them would seem so small. It's like, why are you having a hard time believing in yourself when we had to believe in ourselves under Jim Crow or under slavery or under, so sometimes I think the ancestors laugh at us because it's like, come on, man, y'all got this. Y'all got this. Y'all got this. We've already shown and proven, that we're great, that you are great. And that's the legacy that we have given to you, right? So Imani, for me, one of my favorite things about this particular principle is remembering that, ancestors in my own line, ancestors that we all know from the history books, and even ancestors before enslavement, because our history didn't start with that, are freaking phenomenal. So how dare I live small? How dare you live small? How dare you not believe in yourself? How dare you not believe in your purpose, and in your greatness? Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to let that marinate. Do I have an assignment for y'all? It's the new year now. It's January 1st, 2022. What actions are you going to put behind your faith? You say this is your year You gonna do big things. You've been wanting to start a business. You've been wanting to move up in your company. You've been wanting to learn how to invest. You've been wanting to know how to play an instrument. You've been wanting to do something, whatever it is for you. You've been wanting to become a better parent. You just been wanting to do more and to grow and to expand. How can you put actions behind that faith? The saying, that scripture that says faith without works is dead, is so true. If there's no works behind your faith, it's because you probably really don't believe. You want, but you don't believe. You desire, but you don't believe. So how this year will you move from wanting and desiring into having Imani, which is faith? And then what actions will you put behind that faith? Yes, that's your homework assignment. Comment below. I want to know. I want to know, what that is for you. But even if you don't, make sure you do that assignment for yourself and make it a family assignment. Sit down with your children, your spouse, your partner, or with your community, and just, say, how are we moving? What are your desires and wants? What are your desires and wants? What are you get one? Okay, whatever. Okay. And looking at those desires and wants, and then say, okay, how can we transform that desire into actual faith? Because faith, once it steps into the realm of faith or Imani, that means it's a sure thing. Like, you really know that it is true. It's true for you, right? And then what actions can you put behind that faith? What actions can we collectively as a family or as a community put behind that so that we all cross the finish line together? Yeah. That's it. Happy 2022. Thank y'all for watching my 7 favorite things about Kwanzaa. Thank you for watching, joining us, the Greensboro Kwanzaa Collective, on our Facebook page for our nightly Kwanzaa celebrations. I'm sure they're still up, so if you miss one, just go back on there and just scroll and find it and go watch it. That's all you gotta do. It ain't hard. It ain't hard at all, right? So thank you all for joining us for Kwanzaa. I love y'all. I'm wishing you a wonderful and prosperous and amazing 2022. Have I been saying that right the whole time? I hope so. 2022. And until we speak again, as always, I'm wishing you so much peace and love.